One of the toughest things to remember when you're learning German, or one of many other languages for that matter, is the gender of the nouns. As you become more proficient, it becomes almost intuitive when recalling the gender of more heavily used nouns. But when you're just starting out, it's often very difficult to remember them. In German, there are many patterns that occur, with certain word endings almost always being of a specific gender. For example, words ending in ung are almost always of the feminine gender in German. Now, these patterns that occur I'll cover in a different video, but today I want to talk about a great technique that I use for remembering the gender of more obscure nouns. One of the best techniques for remembering anything is to associate the thing that you're trying to remember with a very detailed image in your head. The more wacky the image, the easier it is to remember. In German, there are 3 genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. A great technique for remembering the noun gender in German is to associate the noun you're learning with a famous person of that gender. So for example, the masculine gender you associate with famous men, the feminine gender with famous women, and the neuter gender with famous children. For example, one of the images I created in my head to remember das Dach, the roof in German, was creating an image of Macaulay Culkin as the child actor of the Home Alone movies sitting on the roof of my house. It's very obscure and it's very wacky and it's very easy to remember. Another example of this is the image I created of the demon baby doll thing from the 1990s horror film Chucky, where Chucky is wielding a bloody knife. So das Baby, the baby, das Messer, the knife, and das Blut, the blood, are all neuter in German. And again, this is just a really memorable image that I've made in my head. Another example of this is an image I created for Der Baum, the tree, where Donald Trump's head is kind of infused into the trunk of the tree and the branches are his blonde hair. So there really are countless ways in which you can use this technique, and I've found it incredibly useful for remembering the noun genders in German. And I made these images that I described to you over 2 years ago, and I can still remember them really vividly and really well in my head. So it just shows you how powerful this technique actually is. And I guarantee you that you will get really good results from using this technique too. Thanks very much for watching the video. I hope you learned something new from it and found it useful. If you want to support the channel, you can do so via PayPal or Patreon. And I'd really appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel for future videos. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.